Hello friends, I'm Honish and you're watching Atoclad, the Ironclad, the channel name, and today we are going to discuss about hypervisors. So, what is hypervisor? Hypervisor is any application which allows you to run other softwares, especially operating systems, in a host machine. So, the window which I opened is of Oracle VirtualBox Manager, which is also a type 2 hypervisor. So I'll discuss what is a type 1 hypervisor and a type 2 hypervisor. A type 1 hypervisor is a type of hypervisor which is installed on a machine like Windows. Like the operating system is the hypervisor itself in a simple sense. To compare the things, for example, Proxmox. It's a type 1 hypervisor which is installed on a bare metal machine and in which other virtual machines are installed. And a type 2 hypervisor is a type of hypervisor in which there's a host machine. In this case, I have Windows, in which a virtual machine. Here I have two Ubuntu and one Linux machine. These are the virtual machines are running. So and the in this sense, the virtual box is known as a type 2 hypervisor. To sum up, type 1 hypervisor is installed on a bare metal computer like just is the hypervisor Proxmox example. And second is type 2 hypervisor, which is installed in some operating system like Windows, and through that you are running your virtual machines. Examples for type 2 hypervisors are VirtualBox, VMware, and even there's one product known as VMware ESXi, which is a wonderful product to run virtual machines as a server. So now I'll be demonstrating how to set up a Linux virtual machine. So here I'm telling Kali Linux because it's the easiest to like it's the fastest one which gets installed. Like Ubuntu takes a lot of time. So now I'll go to Kali and now I'll just go to installer images and I'll download this 3.9 gig file. Now you will be like it will take a lot of time, so it's showing me like 7 minutes, like because of my good internet speed. It's not usually this much. Now don't judge me, like it's actually like some 8.4, but it's today it's like it's booming. And second thing, you also need to install a hypervisor type 2 if you are using a Windows machine like me or even any other operating system. And fun fact, you can also enable hypervisors inside a virtual machine. For example, I have a Linux like Ubuntu machine here, which is named Atoclad. That's just like that. So I can run this. I have a GUI version of this. Also, then I can install VirtualBox in that and run virtual machines also. So there's endless possibilities, and now you'll be like it's endless loop. You can just go through into the machines, virtual machines, and it might break things. So that's advice. And now let's download a hypervisor, which will be our Oracle VM like virtual machine box. So you can download this, but as I already have it downloaded, so I won't download it again. So just like that, you can go to Windows host and it will download the installer for you. Uh, so I don't want to download this for now, so I'll just stop it. And now if you see, it's like 40 minutes left, 17 minutes left. So I'll pause this video and then I'll be back when the download's complete. So now we're done with the download of our Kali Linux like image file. Like if you don't know what an installer image is, so it's an ISO file. All the softwares are installed in the same way. You have Ubuntu ISO file to install Ubuntu and others. So now I'll just directly go to my virtual box and go to tools and I'll go to new. Then I'll just specify the name. I'll specify it as, let's think something out. world mode. Just like that. And then you should select the ISO image file, then select it, and then this will be Linux. But the version here we are going to use is Debian 64-bit. So Kali Linux is a Debian based system of Linux. So if you don't know what are distros like distributions in Linux, then I'll make a detailed video in that too in some time later. But the Kali Linux is uses Debian as its main in, and you can go to unattended install, and you don't need to do anything about this. It's rubbish. Go to the hardware. So you are giving it the base memory refers to RAM, and the processors is the number of cores you want to dedicate. So I would recommend you to make a machine with 4 GB RAM and minimum two processors. But I know most of you have computers of 4 GB to 8 GB RAM. So a virtual machine with a 2 GB RAM is of course fine, but I recommend you to give two processor so you can perform like some threading tasks or anything in it, and 20 gigs of RAM. Like this is storage. So I would recommend you to keep some at least 30 gigs of storage. But as I'll not be using it to store anything, I'm just going for 25 30. It depends on your usage. But if you're a starter, always go to create a virtual hard disk. Don't use an existing virtual hard disk. Uh, but if you are cloning something, for example, I want the hard disk from the like a Talkland machine, so I can use that also. But we are going for a fresh install, and we are going to click finish. So you have a Debian based Voldemort machine, a Linux machine here. If I start it, so I have to go through the installations of Kali Linux before I can use it. Simple as that, but it does not seems as simple to download operating systems. But as you are here with me, I will guide you to do this. It's very simple. So as you get this, you can just and go to graphical install. Just click this and go to graphical install and click enter. Or after 10 seconds, it will automatically go to that. Then, if you want to get some more experience that you are using a virtual machine, just click Control F. That should be the shortcut in most of your computers. So it will appear as if it's a full screen. So of course I'm going to choose English, then India, then I'll go with American English. There's no problem. It's nothing about that, and it will install some random things like. And now we have to wait until it loads some additional components. It's the installation. It might take up to 30 to 40 minutes if you're using a machine like me. But if you're using a lowly configured, or if your host machine is itself slow, then it might take up to 1 hour. So let's wait and see how the installation goes. So here they'll ask for some options which we can fill. So first name, I'll just keep it Kali. So if you don't have a domain, you can just leave it. So I do, but I don't want to give any domain, so I'm just continuing it as empty. Then they'll ask for a full name of the user. I'll just keep Kali as the full name. I'm not interested to do anything. You can keep any full name and username of your account. So please don't get confused. The name is like you are Mohanish, for example, but your school identifies you as your class as roll number 21 or something. So the username is like the roll number and the name is like your name. So don't get confused between that, but both can be same in a machine. So now it's like password. I'll just type a random password. Don't guess me wrong. It's 1 2 3 4 only. If you can just hack it, but I know you can't because it's in my local network. So now we'll just wait, and it will do lot of things. But I'll say you use the entire disk if you are a starter. Don't go for encryption and all that. and also use the virtual hard disk if which we have configured, and always use all files in one partition because see it's recommended for new users, but the best practice is also like most of the users do it. So now it will say us to finish partitioning and write the changes. I'll click continue and click yes and click continue again. And now it will install the base system, which is going to take the actual time minimum 20 to 40 minutes. It will take from here, and at last you'll get a grub installer thing. So as that comes, I'll just fast forward the video. So I have missed here something. So after a while of 5 minutes, you'll just get this. Just go with the defaults. But if you know about genome and KD plasma, you can use that also. But use XFCE as it's the default desktop environment and click here. Now this is the stage where it will take little time. So grab a cup of coffee or go for lunch, have a party for around 20 minutes, and your fresh machine will be baked and ready to be used. So I'm back after my cup of coffee. Actually, I had 3 cups of coffee. But now, as you are seeing, that stage is done, and it's like, do you want to install Grub as your primary, to your primary drive? Of course, it's a yes. And if you are a beginner, dare you do the no. Do it, click it's yes. It's of course yes. And then continue, and then select the slash dev slash SDA. Don't go to enter device manually. But if this doesn't displays, like this is your virtual hard disk, it will be of course displayed. But in case it doesn't, then you can go to enter device manually and you can search it there. But as mine is shown, I'm going to click continue after selecting that, and it will install Grub. So Grub is like a bootloader, like when your Windows boots. So what makes the boot possible? So in Linux, it's the Grub, like which we installed here. So now it will finish the installation and ask us for a restart, which we will, and we can use our Linux machine like a charm. Let's wait for the final baking, and until that, I want to discuss a small concept. The best thing I like about Linux is it's free. For example, if you wanted to run a Windows virtual machine, then you might have wanted to pay for it if you did not have a license. For example, if you were in Linux and you had to install a Windows virtual machine, then probably you had to pay for the ISO file. I'm not sure, but probably. And if your Mac, if you wanted to use a Mac like Apple operating system, so you of course had to pay a serious amount of money, and of course you need to have a architecture of the M chip series and all that. But Linux runs anywhere. That's the beauty of Linux, and that's why everybody in the world uses Linux to host the websites and everything. Any serious company uses Linux. So now it's going to reboot if you click continue, and here comes our final baking process. So our thing is baked and it's ready to be chewed and checked. So let's get started. Click enter so you don't have to wait for the 10 seconds and see this dragon, and it's loaded. So my username was Cali, and you can just type a password, and mine is like random password, so don't try to guess it. So if you see a small screen like this, just do Control F, you get a full screen, and you should enjoy, like it's so fascinating to see a full screen. And now if you want, you can go do couple of settings, like you can go to desktop settings and you have many kinds of wallpapers, I'll just select this one and close it, and you see it's like kind of Windows. You have a task like a start button, and you might see some information gathering, and these are all like some hacking stuff, but you don't need to get about that because that's not our intention here. Our intention here is to learn Linux and learn how to use Linux like a pro, and if required, go to production level stuff and other things. So now I want to show you some undercover mode. If I wrong, Kali undercover mode. So if you click this, so you can see a Windows like interface. Like this is the Linux only. You might see this weird thing, Ethernet and all that. And if you click here Windows, then you can see the Kali Linux, all that stuff. Okay, so if you are still obsessed with Windows, then you can do this. File manager, it's the home directory and all that. Then this is a terminal, but we don't like this. We want to use our Linux as it is. So I'll just go to undercover mode and okay, is it a crunch? No. Okay, so I don't know how to shut it out. So I need to check undercover mode. Yeah. Okay, I think if I click this, it should get back. So you see, if you're obsessed with Windows, then you can use this. So I want to say the hotkey which is normally used and configured in Linux to start the terminal, as it is going to be our favorite place in the coming videos, which is Control Alt T to open a terminal. And this is where we are going to do all the crazy stuff. And for your satisfaction, we are just going to run our first commands here, which will be uh, so as you see, we are use the sudo to run our first command. So to learn more about sudo, we'll just discuss it later. So you see, I have some packages to upgrade. So if I just write sudo apt upgrade, so it should do the task for me, and it will again take some 5 minutes because there are many packages. Type Y or just click enter, and we'll start doing the stuff. It will take some time. So this is how you set up a new virtual machine in your Windows host. If you need any guiding tips, then just leave a comment in the comment section, and you can also just like the video, subscribe the channel, share this video so more and more people know how to use a Linux in Windows right from the machine they're using, as most of us use Windows. But for learning serious coding and other stuff, many switch to Linux. So I hope you like this video. This was all about how to set up a Kali Linux box. You can also do it with Ubuntu, but the problem with Ubuntu is like you will be directed to a VBox user, which is VirtualBox user, because you have done it with VirtualBox like Hypervisor, and then you have to set up sudo privileges using the root user, which we'll be covering in our next videos. So you have to set up something at a high level without even knowing what is it. So it might be something hectic. So that's why I chose Kali for your ease. Thank you friends for watching this video. I hope you like it. Thanks for watching.